Have you ever wondered if some of the hard things going on in your life, in your mind, in your circumstances, could possibly be warfare, spiritual warfare, demonic warfare? Because it's important to ask those questions. And it may not be, but sometimes it is. And if we don't ask God if it is warfare and look at His Word and get a battle plan, we might wonder why we're always dodging fiery darts and full of wounds, exactly like being in a battle, and we're not overcoming, and we're not taking new territory, and we're not winning. And part of that is that we need to come to God and ask Him, am I in the middle of warfare? And I would just encourage you to read Ephesians 6, memorize Ephesians 6, maybe between verses 10 and 20, where it says, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. And He begins to explain to you, because you have an adversary, and that there is tormentors in high places that are looking to make our lives difficult. And then there's a battle plan. There's armor. There's a purpose for this chapter in Ephesians 6 that could make all the difference in the tormenting you might be going through. And I would just hate for us to miss that because we don't ask God, or because we're not comfortable and we don't want to know if there's warfare, and therefore we don't have a strategy. And I'm afraid it might keep us from victory. So if you want to join me today in reading Ephesians 6:10 through 20, and just coming to God and asking Him some questions and letting Him give you a battle plan. There's a reason that God uses war a lot, particularly in the Old Testament, as an example for us to learn, because the physical war that went on in the Old Testament is a picture of the spiritual warfare in the unseen realm. It's just going to feel very similar. I don't know. Maybe you have. I'm going to ask some questions. These would be questions you could ask yourself, and just to help you decide if you might be under a spiritual attack. Like, have you ever just felt like quitting because the hassle of Christianity is just too much? I mean, does that thought ever incessantly plague you? Because you might want to ask God, is that warfare thinking? Because the enemy wants to put thoughts into our mind to torment us. Have you ever felt just captivatingly drawn or magnetized to something that you know is wrong? And it even baffles you. It even baffles you how magnetized you are to something. Have you ever had doubts about the truth of God's word, the reality of Christianity, maybe even blasphemous thoughts about God, and you're thinking, what is wrong with me? Just this incessant pummeling in your mind. Have you ever felt compelled to do something that you know is wrong when you know it's not from God, and you think, I don't know why I would think like this or want to do something so bad, or just constantly bombarded with doubting the goodness of God? Do you ever feel like that, like it is bombarding you continually? Plagued by feelings of worthlessness and inadequacy over and over, and it won't go away, or constant condemnation about your past, and it doesn't leave you. No matter what you know is true, it doesn't leave you. Overwhelmed with depression, thoughts of suicide, haunted by just some memory, haunted by a memory that you just simply cannot shake. Maybe you've heard voices. Maybe you have noise that goes on in your head. Maybe there are things going on in your head that you think, I don't want to tell anyone. Can I just have you ask the questions and lay it out before God, that He says in Ephesians 6 that when those things come upon you, you need to know that there is a spiritual attack against your mind, your spirit, and your body, and that He has a plan for you to have victory. You don't need to be afraid of it. You don't need to be afraid that you can't tell someone, although I think we would all say we have to be careful what we say and to who. But what if you're not just crazy? What if the Bible is true? that there is another force that wants to torment you. And there is a plan for you to win. If that's you and you wonder sometimes why you can't overcome, why you can't ever win the battle in your mind, I just want to say your flesh has some strength, and God has enabled you to discipline that flesh. But spiritual warfare, these heavenly hosts and these dark hosts in heavenly places, they are stronger than you. They're just not stronger than Jesus. And there's a battle plan. Read Ephesians today, 6, verses 10 through 20. Look at the armor. Start asking some questions about addictive thoughts, feelings, circumstances. I mean, maybe you've just been sick and the doctors can't figure out why. I mean, there are some unusual ways that a spiritual attack can come against you. I don't want you to be hopeless in that. What I want you to know is if you ask God if it's warfare, He's going to tell you the plan of victory. So let Him do that. Get excited. You're not alone. The taunters, the tormentors are out there to discourage Christians. You're not crazy. Take hope. Take hold of the word. Read Ephesians 6. He wants you to win today.